Man, these medications have saved my life in a sense, man. I mean, that and the meetings and the positive thinking and the sponsorship and working with other alcoholics and doing the next right thing and just, applying the teachings and the meetings to life and coming up short a lot of the time. That is a miracle, man. That's a miracle because I couldn't quit drinking and drugging for a couple hours, let alone a couple days or a couple years, And now I have no desire to drink and drug because I know it will kill me. So these medications are the lesser of two evils, and I don't care what people say when they say like, "Oh yeah, you're just substituting." Well, you know what? Fuck you. I'm not substituting. I'm using what I need, and these were created by God through God created these through scientists to help people with mental deficiencies, for whatever reason that they may have them.
On the negative side, though, I mean, I hear what you're saying. Do you think, though, that a lot of the pharmaceuticals are misprescribed, or that a lot of them are just to make money? I'm not saying the ones you're taking, but the pharmaceutical industry for a whole.
Probably. I mean, there's probably other ways that you can go around and get the same effect with natural healing and herbs and stuff like that, and I'd have to research all that, but I go to talk to the psychiatrist, and this is what he's prescribed to other people, and it's proven to have worked for them, and I don't pay a dime for them anyway, so he told me to take them. I'm the guinea pig. They worked, so I'm going to keep taking them.
Do you use any herbal supplements, vitamins, or natural?
Not right at the moment, but when I'm bodybuilding, I use a lot of supplements, a lot of vitamin, mineral supplements.
How do you get your pills?
I usually buy what pills?
Your pharmaceuticals.
Oh, I get them from mental health, the Looney Bin. It's up on. It's up on what do you call it?
So you just go in and you tell them your name, and then they have the prescription for you.
Yeah, they know me over there. They're, that crazy guy that always comes in here with the comic book guys on his truck. Yeah, that guy. Give him as many meds as possible.
You're a regular, is what you're telling me.
No, I go there and I get what I need, man, and they know me. I'm set up, and I'm poor. I make under the $16,000 or $12,000 a year, whatever it is. I think it's 16 or 12,000. If you make under a certain amount of money, you automatically get them free. I mean, you can't afford them anyway, so they'd rather have you have them than go crazy and kill people.
And I haven't offended you at all by making jokes or saying things, have I?
No, man, I'm a natural jokester. You know that. I mean, I have a great sense of humor, but I mean, it wasn't funny when I was out there, and I can't even smoke a joint anymore and laugh because I'm so miserable, because I'm such an addict. And I've lost everything, and the will to live, the will to fight, and when it gets that bad, and then you're thinking, now I understand why my best friend and my brother blew their brains out with guns. You understand where they were at, and I was there, and when you start to see it and you live it, then it's pretty scary. It's really scary, and so you can either choose one, two, 3 or 4, what is it? Jails, institutions, death, or you can get sober and use every means necessary, 12 steps, medications, prayer, God in your life, spiritual principles, and living a different way of life through the program and working the steps. And that is what actually saves a life. And because they call it doing the deal, and doing the deal means you have a deal. You're willing to do certain things to save your own life. And the only way an addict or an alcoholic would do those things is if their life depended on it. And when you're put in a position where you have to do that to survive, and then you see the blessings and the rewards that comes from practicing all that stuff in your life, it's just a miracle. And that's why God created it's all about love, man. It's love and just service and just honesty, hope, brotherly love, spiritual awareness, all these things, and it's weird because we were just like all over the road, thieves, murderers, liars, cheaters, adulterers, sex fiends, drug addicts. I mean, crazy, you know, just arrogant egomaniacs with an inferiority complex. I mean, it's just crazy. And so God is just good in restoring us.
Why do you think you've used illegal drugs to the degree you have?
You know what? I just talked to my sponsor yesterday, and he explained that to me. He interviewed me and asked me, well, why, or what was your family life like? What was it like growing up? And, you know, I told him everything, and my family life wasn't the best, wasn't the worst, but there's definitely some issues there. But I mean, but what he said is that there comes a point where you have to take responsibility no matter what happened to you. He said there's people that are they grew up in the most fucked up circumstances and they turn out to be great. And then there's people that grew up in great circumstances that turn out to be pieces of shit. So basically what we were analyzing is it came down to fear. I was afraid. I had no sense of identity, really. And I was predisposed to alcoholism and addiction for whatever reason. And it's part of just my makeup. I have an allergy to alcohol, and I have an allergy to drugs that make me feel good, and I can't stop at one. And so one's not enough. How does that go? One's not enough, and 1,000's too many, or 1,000's not enough, and one's too many, or something like that. But yeah, that's what happens, man. I mean, so basically, we do drugs because we did drugs because we wanted to feel good. Bottom line. But when we're feeling good, we ended up getting addicted to the stuff. And getting addicted to this stuff, you build a tolerance to it. And once you build a tolerance to it, it stops working the way it did, but you still have to have it. And then, of course, your behavior patterns are changing, and you're just completely turning into a different character, basically a scumbag, if you will. And then...
When did you start using alcohol?
14 years old.
Tell me about how you started with drugs, alcohol.
Shoot, we were on the golf course, man. We were... partying.
Try not to say any names, but just...
Oh, yeah.
You were in middle school?
We were in middle school, and we were in high school, and we used to hang out with the kids a year younger than us. Because we were in high school, and nothing was really going on over there, because we were like on the short end of the totem pole there, but to the other kids, we were up high, so they invited us out, and we partied with them, but they liked to drink, so... I started drinking because one of the girls that I really liked was there, and
redheaded chick.
Yeah, and then so I started drinking, and it became easier to talk to her and to be. Of course, I acted like a complete just moron and an idiot, but still, you know, I was able to just, you know, get out of that shyness. You know, get out of the shyness, get out of all that, and just kind of just be free for a little while, and. So.
And then, did your parents have alcohol and drugs? Did you get into their cabinets?
My stepdad had a wine room, and he had hundreds of bottles of booze, but we never really drank those. I was giving those to my friends, and we'd have parties and drink that. But I was basically not really drinking all that much, but it was a progressive thing over time. And then it opened up the gates to like marijuana, and then I started experimenting with other drugs. And
did you smoke marijuana for the first time?
I think I was, what, 15?
And was that with some of your friends?
Yeah. I got really stoned in the back of this pickup truck, and it was just weird. I was like, marijuana has a really different kind of effect on me. It really messes me up.
What was it like after the next day and the weeks to come? What was the thoughts you had about getting more, or being afraid of it, or?
My thoughts about it were I was trying to look for some kind of identity to actually, so that I could correspond with it. Okay, if I'm gonna be smoking weed, I've got to be a certain type of character, I've got to act a certain way, and I've got to hang with a certain kind of people. So it was weird. It was like everything I did, I had to to be an actor and change my whole what do you call it? You know, from going from drinker and partier to being a bodybuilder. You had to act a certain way. Athletes don't drink, so during the week it was like, okay, let's just, you know, eat perfect meals and work out really hard and be obsessed with bodybuilding. And then when the weekend comes, we're burnt out from training, so friends are partying, so willpower gets weak, and you go and you want to just feel good and fit in, so you drink a lot, and then it just starts to cycle over again, and then pretty soon you're opening gateways to LSD and, you know, like, then eventually cocaine and mushrooms.
Here, let's go in order. So it was alcohol and marijuana. How about cigarettes?
Cigarettes were never really my thing, but they came later for a little bit.
Okay, so then marijuana's about 15, 16. And then what was it? Was it LSD and like what age?
It was marijuana, and then
Mushrooms.
I don't know, right around 17. Senior in high school, started experimenting with mushrooms and acid. And
you got those from your friends, or?
I got those from just you know, people. It's, you know, these kids had access. We had drug dealers for everything. We had a coke dealer. We had a...
Somebody was selling coke at high school?
Oh, yeah. There was a guy selling coke, and then we had...
What happened to that guy?
I don't know. I had friends that, you know, you had the coke heads, you had the weed heads, you had the people that fried, you had the people that used mushrooms, the Grateful Dead people smoked weed and ate a lot of mushrooms, took a lot of acid, and traveled with the dead, and then you had... It just you had every kind of group and every kind of drug.
So then after high school it was marijuana, and then did you do any other drugs after that?
Yeah, and then it was on to cocaine for the first time at age 20.
How was that?
I remember that I was in a huge depression from drinking and using weed. So I remember the day I did that, the cocaine was actually a good thing for that particular day, because and after that for a little while, because it brought me out of my depression, because I didn't have any more of it. But in the initial thing of using it, it brought me out of this huge depression, suicidal depression. So it was like I was able to feel okay again. But all it really did was open the door for later on to go, oh yeah, that coke was good that one time, so yeah, I want to try that again. But
what was after coke?
Then it was crack cocaine. And I remember I tried some of that when I got an inheritance later on. I was smoking a bunch of weed and I got depressed. So I was like thinking, well, that coke made me feel better that one time. What I'll do is I'll smoke one crack rock to get out of my depression. Well, I went down and bought that one crack rock, and I liked it so much that I ended up blowing about, I don't know, a couple $1,000 or $1,500 on, and I was just on a 30-day, keep going back and forth, getting more crack. And then finally God got me out of that one, and I went down to Venice Beach and got clean and came back and started over again. And, you know, I went on a couple of those little crack benders, but I always hated that drug because it never lasted very long and it was so expensive.
And then what was after crack?
Then, I don't know why I never got into crystal meth or, you know, like speed. I did it a few times but never got into it. Then in 2002, I started experimenting with crank, which was this pink form of speed back then. But then right around that time period in this town, it was going from this pink, like, crank stuff, but it used to get me really high. And then it got into the crystal meth, which was just, you know, the little crystal rocks, you know.
Did you have any side effects on those drugs up till this point?
Yeah, it depends on which guy you want to interview. Me or me.
So you're saying
it's a joke.
It was like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde?
Well, yeah, it turns you into a monster, man. I mean, basically, you turn into everything that you never wanted to be, you become. Like, you become a thief, you become a dirty person, you become a person that doesn't bathe and use proper hygiene, you become a person that doesn't care about anything anymore but getting high. And it's just crazy, man. It's crazy. It steals. Basically, I was able to use the shit, and I opened myself up to use it, and so I basically forfeited my character away for a while until I was able to come back again and get clean. I mean, and that person is coming out again now. The real person that I want to be is coming out, and during that time is like I was just chained down for years to these addictions and this just abuse to myself that's just crazy.
When you go to the meetings, do you talk about this, or what are the meetings like nowadays?
The meetings are good. Yeah, you talk on if you're called upon, or if you want to talk, you can talk. The meeting, they usually have a chairperson, and that person talks about their experience, strength, and hope. And then after that, they pick a topic, and then the people go around the room and talk about their experience, strength, and hope as it relates to that topic.
Is there a commonality among people, or is it very different?
No, there is a commonality, and the commonality is that you've got everyone that has everything different about themselves, but they have one common denominator, and it's that they're an alcoholic. And so that we're the same. We're all the same, but yet we're also very different. It's weird.
What are the reasons why they do them? Stress, family, childhood problems?
Escape from reality. Escape from restless, irritable, and discontent is what it's called. And never a feeling of belonging.
Restless, irritable, and discontent.
Restless, irritable, discontent. And when the moment you take a drink or a drug, the ease and comfort that comes from just one or two drinks set you free from that feeling of not belonging or whatever your problem is for that moment. And that's the problem. We start doing so much of that our lives turn into this giant mess. And then in that giant mess, we start making poor decisions that kill us in the end if we don't get the recovery necessary to stop or arrest that. And that is...
What's the numbers? You were telling me that it's pretty rare.
I guess it's like 2%. Actually, 2% of all the people that go to AA and NA or whatever, I don't know, I could be wrong. It was 2%